But visualization alone isn't enough. You need to pair it with emotion. Emotion is the glue that holds the new neural pathways in place. When you visualize a new future, you need to connect the emotions that would come with that future. Imagine the feelings of joy, love, excitement, gratitude, and fulfillment that you would experience if you were already living the life you desire. These emotions will create a powerful feedback loop in your brain, reinforcing the new neural connections and helping you embody the new version of yourself. It's important to understand that you don't need to wait for the circumstances of your life to change in order to feel the emotions associated with your desired future. You can feel them now. You don't need to wait for external validation or approval. Your brain doesn't care where the emotions are coming from. It just wants to feel them. So, the more you practice feeling those elevated emotions in the present moment, the more your brain will begin to believe that this new future is already real, and it will start guiding you toward that reality. The third step is to let go of the past. You can't create a new future if you're still attached to the old one. You can't move forward if you're constantly looking behind you, replaying the same old stories of pain, regret, and disappointment. The past is over, and holding on to it only keeps you trapped in a loop of negative emotions and limiting beliefs. To move forward, you must release the past. This doesn't mean you have to forget your past or pretend it never happened. It simply means that you no longer allow your past to dictate your present or your future. The past has no power over you unless you give it power. You have the ability to choose a new story, a new narrative, and a new way of being. In these 3 days, you will practice letting go of the old stories and embracing the new. You will stop identifying with the person you used to be and begin identifying with the person you are becoming. This is where the real magic happens. The moment you stop identifying with your past is the moment you start creating your future. Your past doesn't define you. Your future does. And your future is created in the present moment, in every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every action you take. So, in these 3 days, make the conscious choice to let go of the past and step into your future. As you begin to rewire your brain, as you start thinking differently, feeling differently, and behaving differently, you will notice changes in your external reality. Your relationships may begin to shift. You may start attracting new opportunities. You may find that situations that once triggered negative emotions no longer have the same effect on you. You may notice that you are more peaceful, more focused, more aligned with your true purpose. These changes are not coincidental. They are the result of the new neural pathways you have created, the new habits you have formed, and the new beliefs you have adopted. You are no longer operating from a place of fear, scarcity, and limitation. You are operating from a place of possibility, abundance, and empowerment. The key to making these changes permanent is consistency. 3 days is just the beginning. It's the first step in a journey that will continue as long as you are willing to keep practicing. Every day is an opportunity to reinforce the new neural pathways, to strengthen the new version of yourself, and to continue creating the reality you desire. But if you can commit to just 3 days of focused effort, you will begin to see the changes that are possible when you take control of your mind and your emotions. So, take a deep breath and trust in the process. Know that you have everything you need within you to create the life you want. The power is already in your hands. It takes only 3 days to begin the process of transformation. It takes only 3 days to change the course of your life. And it all begins with a single choice to think, feel, and act differently. It takes only 3 days to begin shifting your reality, to transform the way you experience the world around you, to break free from old patterns and create a new future. This is not a magic trick or an illusion. It's not about waiting for something external to change. It's about understanding that everything in your life, your experience, is the result of how you perceive, how you feel, and how you act. And once you learn to alter these fundamental aspects of your being, the very fabric of your reality will begin to shift. This transformation doesn't take years of painstaking effort. It doesn't require a lifetime of struggle. It takes only 3 days. 3 days is enough time to begin rewiring your brain, to start making different choices, to shift from the old you to the new you. The reason it only takes this short time is that the brain is incredibly plastic, incredibly adaptable. It doesn't take long for it to learn new ways of thinking, perceiving, and being. The brain can change in an instant if given the right stimulus. In just 3 days, you can begin to break free from the habits that have been keeping you stuck in a loop of frustration and dissatisfaction. You can start moving toward the life you've always dreamed of, a life full of possibility, purpose, and peace. We are creatures of habit. We tend to live on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, the same behaviors, and the same emotions day in and day out. This repetition builds neural networks in the brain that become so deeply ingrained that we hardly even notice them. We don't realize how much our thoughts and behaviors are shaping our experiences. But the truth is, every thought you have, every feeling you experience, every choice you make, is creating a new version of you. And every time you repeat a thought or a behavior, you're reinforcing the neural pathways that are responsible for that particular way of thinking, feeling, and acting. This is why so many of us find ourselves stuck in the same patterns, year after year, despite our best efforts to change. We've built these neural pathways through years of repetition, and now those pathways are running the show. But what if I told you that you have the power to change those neural pathways? What if I told you that you can rewire your brain in just 3 days? The process starts with awareness. The first step in changing your reality is to become aware of your thoughts and your patterns. You have to notice the way you think about yourself, your life, your relationships, your work, and your future. You have to become conscious of the stories you're telling yourself, the beliefs you're holding on to, and the emotional responses that are triggered by certain situations. Awareness is the key that unlocks the door to transformation. Once you're aware of the thoughts and behaviors that are limiting you, you can begin to choose something different. In these 3 days, you will be intentionally shifting your awareness. You will start noticing when you're falling into old patterns of thinking or feeling, and you will consciously choose to think, feel, and act differently. This requires discipline and focus, but it is entirely possible. You don't need to wait for a big event to change. The change can happen in the smallest of moments. Every moment is an opportunity to create something new. The second step in this process is to practice new ways of thinking and feeling. It's not enough to just become aware of your old patterns, you need to actively replace them with new ones. You can do this by consciously choosing new thoughts, new beliefs, and new behaviors. You need to start visualizing the future you want, the person you want to become, and the life you want to create. When you focus on these new possibilities, you are sending new signals to your brain. You are creating new neural pathways that support this new version of you. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself living the life you want, your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. The more you practice visualizing the person you want to become, the more your brain will begin to align with that vision. It'll start to create the necessary neural connections to support this new way of being.